your fucking hands up. He dropped the gun. He dropped the gun. He dropped the gun. Hey, can we get taser up? Taser up. You got lethal? Yeah, I got taser. Taser up, 'cause he's not getting down. Hey, get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground now! Or you're gonna get tased. Is that a real gun? Get on the gun. Hey! Shots fired. Shots fired.
I got the firearm.
Just leave it. Leave it.
Monday afternoon, 13:36. Overcast wind pushes grit across the parking lot as the body cam catches a hand snapping a door open and a voice cutting through the air, sharp rehearsed, already impatient. A patrol radio chirps, then a confirmation tone follows, and the first thing the camera hears clearly is the word detained, delivered like a decision that cannot be reversed. The officer's boots scrape asphalt as his arm rises rigid weapon, leveled toward the row of parked cars. Monday afternoon, 13:36, overcast, the scene is not clean or cinematic. Wind distorts syllables, and the mic peaks whenever the officer raises his voice, turning certain words into muffled bursts that sound almost interchangeable. The bodycam view swings past a white SUV with its driver door hanging open, then settles on a man near the front quarter panel shoulders, squared hands, visible palms out as if he had practiced staying still without looking scared. Grant Sterling's name is spoken by another unit over the radio, clipped and fast, and Grant answers without looking away from the man. He does not introduce himself the way a comm contact usually begins. He starts with a command and a deadline. "Do not move your hands again," he says, and the last two words come out louder, as though volume can substitute for clarity. Jordan Lee stands in a plain dark hoodie and work pants dusted at the knees, a key ring hanging from one belt loop. His face reads tired more than defiant, and he does not talk over the officer. He keeps his hands up, then lowers them only a few inches, stopping the moment Grant's voice spikes. Sir Jordan says steady, "What is the exact suspicion right now?" Grant's jaw tightens. "You're not running the stop. You're being detained for verification. Verification of what obstruction if you keep doing that?" A thin pause follows, and it is the wrong kind of quiet. It is not resolution. It is the moment where people decide whether the next sentence will pull things back or push them over. The wind slaps the bodycam mic again, swallowing the start of Jordan's next words. Monday afternoon, 13:37. Overcast Grant takes one step closer, then two angling, so he has the SUV between himself and the street. The officer's posture says public performance. Chin up, shoulders, wide voice, set for an audience, even when no audience is supposed to be there. The problem is there is an audience a few tenants near the lobby glass, and a woman in an office cardigan with a key lanyard who freezes mid-step when she sees the gun. Rosa Delgado's hand goes to her mouth, then to the lanyard, then to her pocket, as if her body is searching for a script. She looks toward Jordan, then back to Grant, and the expression on her face mirrors the viewer's first instinct. This is going too far too fast in a place where people check mail and carry grocery bags. "Ma'am, get inside," Grant snaps without looking at her. Rosa swallows eyes wide. "This is the front, this is the lobby. People live here. Inside. Now." Rosa takes a half step back, but she doesn't fully retreat, and the peppermint gum in her cheek makes her jaw work like she is chewing down panic. Monday afternoon, 13:37. Overcast wind, Jordan's hands remain visible, and he speaks like someone trying to keep the record clean. "Officer, am I free to leave?" Grant answers too quickly. "No." "Then the detention is for what specific reason?" Grant's voice hardens. "For verification, and you can stop playing word games." A second officer approaches from behind the patrol car, and his presence changes the air even before he speaks. He does not look eager. He looks tired, like he had already guessed what kind of stop this would become. His eyes flick from Jordan's hands to Grant's stance and back again, and he says quietly, "Grant, what's the call?" Grant says it louder than needed, as if volume makes it unquestionable. Suspicious person. Possible vehicle tampering. He reached into the car after being told not to. Jordan's head turns slightly, not challenging, just tracking the claim. Reaching where specifically Grant's stare sharpens. "You hear yourself." Rosa's phone appears in her hand, low and angled, not shoved into anyone's face, just present. The lens glints once when it catches daylight, and Grant's attention snaps toward it. "Put that away," Grant barks. Rosa's voice trembles, but she does not raise it. It's a public-facing lobby. "I'm recording for safety." Grant steps half-turning, and for one beat, the body cam catches the front of his uniform. The nameplate, the stance that says he is used to winning arguments by declaring them over. Monday afternoon, 13:37. Overcast, Jordan does not lunge, does not argue, does not do anything that could be framed as noncompliance, except continue to ask for clarity. The questions are short, and they are the kind that force an officer to either answer on the record or escalate. Can the CAD or call number be provided? Jordan asks. Grant's eyes narrow. You don't get to demand system information. It's a simple request, Jordan says. It protects everyone. The second officer exhales through his nose and looks away for a fraction of a second, the smallest sign of discomfort that the camera can still catch. Rosa shifts her weight and keeps her phone low thumb tapping the screen, as if adding a timestamp note without announcing it. Monday afternoon, 13:38. Overcast wind. Grant moves closer to Jordan's right side, trying to control the angle. His tone becomes procedural, but the motive beneath it is ego, and it leaks out in the words he chooses. Hands behind your back. Grant orders. Jordan keeps his palms up. Officer before any cuffs. What is the exact basis? Grant's face tightens, and he goes straight for the label. Obstruction. That's not an answer. Jordan says, still calm. What is the basis? That is the moment the wind gusts hard enough to distort the next exchange. The Bodycam mic compresses the words blur, and later in reviews people will argue about what was said because the audio is not perfect. In real time, the imperfection has a consequence. It gives Grant room to claim he heard something he wanted to hear. Grant leans in, voice rising. Stop reaching Jordan's hands, move only a few inches. Not toward Grant, not toward a waistband, but toward the open SUV door as if pointing. The phone is what Grant snaps. What did you say? Jordan's mouth forms a clear word, but the wind swallows part of it. Phone, he says again, and the officer's face flickers with a split-second interpretation that lands wrong. Grant hears danger where there is explanation, and the next seconds go from tense to irreversible. Monday afternoon, 13:38, overcast. Grant's weapon stays up and his body shifts into a braced stance. The camera view jolts. Footsteps slap asphalt. Rosa gasps loud enough that her inhale lands on the audio as a sharp hollow pull. Do not reach, Grant yells. Jordan freezes mid-motion. Hands up, he says, and his hands rise again, immediately higher than before. Grant does not lower his weapon. Get on the ground. Now. Jordan's eyes flick to the lobby glass, then back. There are people behind you. Ground. Now. Jordan lowers himself carefully, knees first, then one hand to the pavement, then both, flattening his body in a way that shows compliance without surrendering awareness. His cheek presses against rough asphalt. The camera catches the scuffed gravel and the edges of the white SUV's open door. Rosa's voice, thin and shaking, slips out. He's doing it. He's doing it. Grant barks without looking. Ma'am, back up. Rosa's phone is still low, still recording, and her free hand grips the lanyard like it is an anchor. Monday afternoon, 13:39, overcast wind. Grant steps forward, and the sound of his gear shifts Velcro plastic metal loud in the mic. A low battery chirp comes from somewhere in the background. Faint at first, then again the kind of small technical warning that becomes a stressor when everything else is already unstable. Jordan's hands are out, fingers spread. Please confirm the call number, he says, voice pressed into the pavement but still clear. Please. Grant answers with a threat instead of an answer. You keep talking, you're going to jail. Talking is not a crime, Rosa blurts, then clamps her mouth shut as if surprised by her own courage. Grant's head turns eyes sharp. Did I ask you? Rosa swallows her gum, pauses, then starts again. No, sir? Grant's tone is colder. Then do what you're told. The second officer moves in, hands hovering near his own cuffs, and his eyes keep darting between Grant's posture and Jordan's hands, as if he is watching for the mistake before it happens. Grant, he says again quieter, let's slow it down. Grant does not slow down. He looks like a man who believes slowing down is losing, and he is not here to lose in front of a lobby full of witnesses. Monday afternoon, 13:40. Overcast. The first set of handcuffs clicks metal on wrist, a sound so definitive it changes the way everyone breathes. Jordan's chest rises and falls measuredly, and the camera catches the tension in his shoulders, not as drama but as restraint control built from necessity. Jordan turns his head just enough to speak without lifting his body. Officer requests the CAD number, he says again, and his words are not a lecture, just a record. Please state it for the camera. Grant's response is immediate and dismissive. No, Jordan's voice stays even. Then please state your badge number. Grant's laugh is sharp, humorless. You can get it later. Rosa's phone dips, then rises slightly, and her thumb moves fast over the screen as if she is writing something down. Her eyes flick to the patrol car, then to Grant's shoulder mic, then to the open SUV door like she is triangulating without knowing the word for it. Monday afternoon, 1341 overcast wind. Grant pulls Jordan up to his knees, then to his feet, guiding him toward the lobby sidewalk. Jordan does not resist, but he does not collapse into helplessness either. He walks with a careful steadiness, as if he refuses to give the moment the satisfaction of making him stumble. "Where's the weapon?" Grant demands. "There is no weapon," Jordan answers. "The phone is in the door pocket." Grant's voice rises again. "Stop lying." Jordan's eyes stay forward. "Please retrieve it on camera." Grant's jaw clenches. "You don't give me instructions." The wind whips again, and the Bodycam mic distorts the next few words. Later, people will listen to the audio and argue about whether Jordan said phone or gun, and that argument will become its own piece of evidence friction because the audio is imperfect. In the moment, Rosa's face tightens with something like fear turning into purpose. Monday afternoon, 1342. Overcast. Grant pivots toward the lobby as if trying to clear the scene of witnesses. Everybody inside, he orders, waving an arm. This is a police investigation. Rosa plants one foot, a small act that looks like nothing until it becomes something. "This is our lobby," she says, voice shaking but audible. "People have mailboxes. Children come through here." Grant's eyes harden. "Do you want to get detained too?" Rosa's breath catches and the gum stops again. "No, sir." She swallows and does not move anyway. Monday afternoon. 1343. Overcast wind. Jordan turns his head slightly toward Rosa, not pleading, not signaling identity, just a quiet acknowledgement that she is a witness. "Thank you," he says, and it is the only personal-sounding line the camera catches from him so far. Grant hears it as alliance and snaps. "Don't talk to her," Jordan answers without raising his voice. "Request supervisor, please state name and ETA." That line lands differently than the earlier questions. Grant's eyes flick just once toward the patrol car, as if he is calculating how much trouble a supervisor introduces. The second officer shifts his stance and looks relieved at the idea, like someone offered a procedural way out. Grant presses his shoulder mic. "Need a sergeant to my location," he says. "Possible weapon. Detained subject. 10-8. A burst of radio static answers, and the response comes clipped and delayed, the kind of minor tech fault that feels like sand in gears. "Unit. Stand by. Confirm address." Grant repeats it louder, irritated. "Euclid Terrace front lot, 3127. Rosa murmurs half to herself, 3127 Euclid, and her thumb taps her screen again, saving the words. Monday afternoon. 1345, overcast. The lobby door opens and closes behind Rosa, and the brief interior echo makes the outside noise feel suddenly sharper when she steps back out. She takes a small, brave action that looks ordinary. She walks to the leasing office window and flips a sign from office to office staff. Only then returns to the doorway, staying present, but not interfering. Grant notices and scoffs. Locking doors now, Rosa's cheeks flush. "It's our protocol when there's a threat outside." Grant's voice drips sarcasm. Threat is handled. Rosa looks at Jordan's cuffs and does not answer. Monday afternoon, 1347, overcast wind. The Bodycam catches a moment that is easy to miss. Rosa starts to speak, then changes her words. "Mr. Lee," she says, then stops, hard eyes darting to Grant, as if she revealed something by accident. Grant's head snaps toward her. "What did you call him?" Rosa swallows. "I tenant file. I meant." Grant cuts her off. "Stay out of it." Jordan's face remains controlled, but his eyes flick toward the office window, like he is tracking the building itself, not the officers. "Rosa," he says quietly, "please preserve lobby footage." Grant's head turns sharply. "What did you just say?" Jordan keeps his voice level. "Please preserve any camera footage." Grant's stare is hard. "You don't run evidence," Jordan answers with a question, not a lecture. "How long is your lobby retention?" Rosa hesitates, then blurts, 3 days, sometimes less if it's busy." The second officer's eyebrows lift the smallest sign that someone else finally sees. The risk evidence can vanish, without anyone destroying it simply because time passes. Monday afternoon, 1349. Overcast. Grant shifts strategies. He stops debating and starts controlling. "He's going in," he says, already walking Jordan toward the patrol unit. "We'll sort it at the station." Jordan turns his head slightly. "That will not preserve the scene." Grant smiles without warmth. "Not your problem." "Am I under arrest?" Jordan asks. "You're being detained," Grant answers, emphasizing the word like it is a shield. Jordan's voice stays steady. For what crime? Grant's smile fades. For obstruction. Rosa's phone captures that exchange, and she looks as if she wants to scream, but instead does the practical thing. She steps into the leasing office and opens the camera console on a dusty desktop computer, her hands moving fast but not sure. The screen refresh lags, the cursor stutters, and when she clicks export, a progress bar appears and crawls like it is moving through syrup. Monday afternoon, 13:50, overcast, the first near-loss moment arrives quietly. The export bar hits 12%, then 19%, then freezes at 23%. Rosa taps the desk, then the mouse, then looks at the router lights like they can be persuaded by eye contact. From the doorway, she calls out voice tight, "It's stuck." Grant outside does not even turn. Not my issue. Jordan's head tilts slightly as if listening. Rosa, take a phone video of the screen, he says calmly. Record the export attempt. Grant's face hardens. Stop directing civilians. Jordan's voice stays level. She's preserving evidence. Rosa raises her phone and films the frozen bar, capturing the time on the computer screen, the lagging cursor, the fan noise of the old tower, and her own breath as it trembles. The evidence is not neat, but it is real, and the imperfection becomes part of the record. Monday afternoon, 13:52, overcast wind dispatch returns with a tone that sounds like routine, but routine in this moment is power. Sergeant ETA 8 minutes. Grant's jaw tightens. 8 minutes is an eternity when evidence retention is short, and a report narrative is being formed in someone's head right now. Jordan speaks again, still in cuffs, still presented as an ordinary person with ordinary vulnerability. Please state the CAD number, he says, for your own documentation. Grant's smile flashes again. You're not entitled. Jordan keeps his gaze steady. Please. The second officer looks toward Grant and finally says low, Grant, just give him the number. Grant's eyes harden. No. Rosa watches the exchange from the doorway, and the viewer can see what she feels. This is no longer about safety. It is about control. Monday afternoon, 13:55, overcast, the Bodycam catches another technical flaw, a faint ticking sound from the patrol car's dash mount like something loose, adding an irritating rhythm under the voices. It makes the silence between sentences feel louder, more aggressive. Jordan shifts his wrists, slightly metal scraping skin, then speaks. Then please state your badge number. Grant leans in, voice low, meant to intimidate. You keep asking questions, you're going to make this worse. Jordan answers softly. Questions don't make it worse. Choices do. That line lands not as a speech, but as a cut. Grant's eyes flicker, anger flashing, and for a second it looks like he might snap back with something reckless. Instead, he turns away, breathing hard through his nose as if the camera itself insulted him. Monday afternoon. 13:58, overcast, a sergeant's SUV rolls into the lot, and the relief on the second officer's face is visible even before a word is spoken. The sergeant steps out with a posture that says he has broken up this kind of scene before, not with heroics, with procedure. He looks from Jordan's cuffs to Grant's stance to Rosa's phone in the doorway. What's going on? He asks. Grant answers fast, controlled, prepackaged. Suspicious subject reached for a weapon in a vehicle. Obstruction during contact. Detained for verification. The sergeant's eyes narrow slightly. Weapon located. Grant's jaw tightens. Not yet. Jordan's voice stays calm. Request the CAD number. Please repeat it out loud. Grant snaps. Stop. The sergeant turns toward Jordan and his brow furrows like he recognizes something that the audience has not been allowed to know yet. Jordan? Lee. Jordan does not puff up, does not announce anything. He simply meets the sergeant's eyes and says, yes. The sergeant's shoulders shift almost imperceptibly, like he just realized the ground beneath this stop is unstable. Grant, he says slowly, why is the independent police auditor in cuffs? The midpoint twist lands in one line, and it detonates the scene without a single narration flourish. Monday afternoon. 13:59, overcast wind. Grant's face changes in a way the camera captures better than words can explain. The smugness collapses into something thinner calculation, trying to outrun panic. His mouth closes, then opens again, as if he is choosing between admitting he did not know and pretending it does not matter. That's Grant starts. The sergeant cuts him off. No, answer the question. Grant's eyes flick to Rosa's phone, then to the second officer, then back. He didn't identify himself. Jordan's reply is quiet. He never asked. Rosa's hand trembles, and her peppermint gum stops again. She looks like she might cry, not from sentiment, but from the sudden relief of being believed by reality itself. Monday afternoon, 14:01 overcast, the sergeant's tone becomes procedural in a way that strips Grant of performance. Uncuff him, he orders. Grant hesitates one beat too long. The sergeant repeats sharper. Now. Grant's hands move to the cuffs, and the metal ratchet sounds loud as he releases them. His fingers shake slightly, and the bodycam catches it. The first crack, not redemption, but fear. Jordan rubs his wrists once, then does not dwell on it. Sergeant, evidence retention here is short, he says. Lobby export is frozen. A preservation notice needs to be issued immediately. Grant's voice spikes. He's threatening litigation. Jordan answers without heat. It's documentation. The sergeant looks at Rosa. Ma'am, are you the office staff? Rosa nods quickly. Yes. Leasing office. Can you show the export? Rosa steps back inside phone, still recording, and the interior echo amplifies every footstep, every inhale, every click of keys. The stale office air hums with a cheap fan, and the computer's hard drive makes a faint whining sound under the frozen progress bar. Monday afternoon, 14:03 overcast, Rosa points at the screen. It froze at 23. Jordan leans slightly, careful not to touch the keyboard. Record the screen state, he says. Record the camera list. Then record the system time. No edits. Grant scoffs, trying to reclaim authority. You can't tell civilians. The sergeant cuts him off again. Grant, stop talking. Rosa lifts her phone, filming the pixelated camera grid, the lagging cursor, and a smudged sticky note on the monitor bezel that reads, Retention, 72 hours in faded marker. The physicality matters, not an abstract claim. A handwritten warning stuck to plastic by someone who learned the hard way. Monday afternoon, 14:05 overcast, the sergeant presses his shoulder mic. Dispatch log a request, preserve any related calls and radio traffic. Confirm CAD number. Static answers, then a pause, then a readback. The CAD number is spoken aloud, and Jordan repeats it back in a calm voice, so the bodycam captures it twice, a simple defensive action that teaches without preaching. CAD number received, Jordan says. Thank you. Grant's jaw clenches at the word thank you, like politeness is a weapon he cannot counter. Monday afternoon, 14:07, overcast wind. Grant tries to push back. Sergeant, he reached into the vehicle. That's a threat. Jordan turns his head slightly. The phone was in the door pocket. The word phone is on the audio, but wind distortion makes it arguable. Grant pounces. Exactly. Unclear. So I acted. The sergeant's eyes narrow. And did you request cover? Did you slow it down? Did you use distance? Grant answers too fast. I gave commands. Jordan's voice is even. The commands changed rapidly. The second officer finally speaks cautious but honest. Sarge, it was loud. Wind. We were talking over each other. Grant snaps, stay out of it. The sergeant looks at the second officer. No, stay in it. Monday afternoon, 14:10 overcast, the story does not resolve with one recognition. Recognition only changes the type of conflict. Now the conflict becomes institutional friction, who controls the narrative, who controls the records, and whether evidence survives long enough to matter. Jordan asks one short question that pins the next steps to procedure. Who has authority to issue an evidence preservation notice right now? The sergeant exhales. Watch commander, then records. Jordan nods once. Then it needs to happen before anyone writes a summary that becomes truth. Grant's eyes flash. You're accusing me of Jordan cuts? In calm. Requesting preservation is not an accusation. Rosa watches the exchange from behind the desk, and her face shows the viewer's anger without her having to shout. Monday afternoon, 14:18, overcast, the first major friction hits from a direction that is not dramatic, but is realistic policy. The leasing office camera system is owned by a contracted property management company, and the on-site staff does not have admin permissions for a full export unless a regional manager authorizes it. Rosa's voice shakes as she explains it. I can see live in clips, but the full export needs the manager code. Grant's mouth tightens with a small, ugly satisfaction. So you can't produce it. Jordan does not react to the satisfaction. Then the preservation notice becomes urgent. The company needs to be notified that deletion is prohibited. The sergeant nods once. Do it. Rosa looks at Jordan. Who do I email? Jordan answers in a way that still avoids biography, still keeps him ordinary in demeanor, even after the twist. Send it to whoever controls retention and copy the sergeant. Include CAD number. Include a request for written acknowledgement. Rosa's fingers hover over the keyboard. The keys click loud in the small office, the sound of record making. She types, and the printer beside her wakes with a warm plastic smell, spitting a page that curls slightly from heat. She holds it up, hands trembling, a simple email draft turned into a physical object that cannot be misremembered. Monday afternoon, 14:26, overcast wind. Grant stands outside, arms crossed, trying to look unaffected. His face betrays him in small ways. A swallow that looks painful, a glance toward the street like he wants distance, and the way his hand keeps going to his radio as if it can rescue him. The sergeant pulls Grant aside, and the body cam catches pieces of the conversation, not all of it, because the mic clips when they talk close, and the wind eats the ends of sentences. The imperfection matters again. Not everything is clear, which means the later proof must come from multiple sources. Grant tries to defend himself with procedure words. He didn't comply. He questioned. He reached. The sergeant's voice is low and flat. He questioned because you refused to clarify. That's different. Grant's voice cracks once tiny and unplanned. I didn't know who he was. The sergeant answers colder. That's the point. Monday afternoon, 14:40. Overcast, Jordan is not celebrated. He stands near the leasing office window, rubbing one wrist once more, then letting his arms hang at his sides, as if he refuses to perform a victory. He looks to anyone passing by like an exhausted man who had a bad day in the wrong place. Rosa approaches him, phone still in hand, voice low. Are you okay? Jordan nods once. You did the right thing. Rosa's eyes shine with held-back emotion. I thought he was going to Jordan, cuts her off gently, not with comfort talk, but with a concrete instruction. Keep your original recording. Do not edit it. Save it to cloud and a second device. Rosa nods hard. Already emailed myself. And my sister. Jordan's mouth twitches, the closest thing to a smile so far. Good. Monday afternoon, 15:10. Overcast, the story moves forward in a way that is not glamorous, but is relentless. A watch commander responds with a short directive. Over-recorded comms preserve all related bodycam and dispatch audio, and document the scene status. Jordan requests on camera the names and badge numbers of every involved officer, and this time the sergeant states them clearly. Grant's badge number is spoken out loud. The number becomes a key. Monday evening, 18:22. Cloudy dusk, the next obstacle is not a courtroom, it is a records backlog. Bodycam upload queues are delayed, and the initial bodycam clip has a timestamp jitter that makes it difficult to match to the lobby camera without careful synchronization. That becomes the credibility attack. The times do not match, someone says, and for a moment it threatens to undermine the whole narrative. Jordan does not argue emotion. He requests the independent anchor's dispatch, tone time, CAD, cue time, and the sergeant's radio standby acknowledgement that was captured separately. 3 sources, different systems, different failure modes. Monday night 21:05 cool wind, the first clean triangulation begins. Dispatch logs show when the sergeant was requested when he arrived, and when the CAD number was read aloud. The leasing office email thread shows the exact moment the preservation notice was sent, and the moment the property management company replied with a written acknowledgement. The body cam shows the commands in the reach. Rosa's phone shows the frozen export bar at 23%, and the sticky note that reads retention 72 hours. The imperfections do not vanish. They become part of why the proof has to be layered. Tuesday morning, 09:18. Marine Layer, the property manager, finally provides admin access for a controlled export, but the first attempt produces a corrupted clip audio channel, missing video stutters, and the manager's face tightens as if he knows the stakes without wanting to be involved. I'm not getting dragged into police stuff, the manager mutters. Jordan's voice is calm. You are being asked to preserve your own records. The manager's eyes flick to the email. It says, litigation hold. Jordan answers simply. It says, preserve evidence. The words protect you, too. The manager exhales and nods, once defeated by paperwork more than by persuasion. Thursday afternoon, 14:12. Bright sun breaking through the second spike moment comes during a formal interview when Grant is confronted with the 3-source timeline. He tries to lean on the same claim, apparent weapon, but the split-screen playback undermines it without needing narration. In the lobby camera angle, Jordan's hand rises toward the SUV door pocket, not toward a waistband. In the body cam, the same motion looks sharper because the camera is moving and the wind is peaking the mic. In the dispatch log, there is no confirmed weapon call from Grant before the escalation. There is only possible repeated like a shield. Grant watches the replay, and the villain crack moment arrives fully this time. His shoulders sag, his mouth dries, and he whispers to no one, "That was a phone." No one cheers. The room simply goes quiet in a way that makes the air conditioner hum sound suddenly too loud. Weeks later, afternoon, 13:30. Warm breeze, the consequences move like a chain instead of a lightning bolt. Internal affairs issues, findings based on documented contradictions, not opinion. A use of force review board requires retraining and supervision changes. A settlement negotiation includes reforms that cost the department more than money policy revisions, an outside monitor, and a mandatory documentation protocol for detentions that begin as verification. Rosa is called as a witness, and her phone recording becomes the human bridge between official systems and lived reality. She sits at a table, hands folded, peppermint gum, absent for once, and answers questions with a steadiness that surprises her. "What did you see?" an investigator asks. Rosa's voice stays soft but clear. "I saw a man asking simple questions. I saw those questions treated like disrespect." "What did you do?" Rosa swallows. "I recorded. And I tried to save the camera footage before it disappeared." Months later, morning 10:05, bright and cool, Euclid Terrace's lobby has a new sign near the mailroom. Camera retention 30 days upgraded. The words are plain, the font boring, and the meaning enormous. Next to it is a complaint protocol sheet with steps written in simple language. Request. A supervisor asks for the reason. Document names preserve recordings. Jordan stands near the sign, not posing for a photo, just looking at it like someone checking that a repair was actually completed. The sergeant stands a few feet away, hands on his belt, and does not try to joke it away. Rosa steps out from behind the counter, eyes tired, face honest. "They really did it," she says quietly. Jordan nods once. "Because it was documented." Rosa exhales, shoulders dropping as if she had been holding them up for months. "I thought it would just disappear." Jordan's reply is calm, factual. It almost did. Rosa looks down at her phone, then back up, and the smallest smile breaks through the exhaustion. "I kept the original file," she says. "2 backups." Jordan nods again. "That's why it didn't become a story. It became a record." The final image is not a courtroom eruption or a shouted apology. It is a leasing office employee standing in her own doorway, safe enough to breathe, proud enough to keep her voice steady, with a lobby that feels a little less like a stage for power and a little more like a home again. The end. Afterward, mandatory value. Add. Closing thoughts. Encounters go wrong fastest when clarity is treated like disrespect. Calm, short questions can protect everyone. Ask what the exact suspicion is. Ask if you are free to leave, and request a supervisor when the situation escalates. If a case or call number exists, ask for it and repeat it out loud so it lands on the record. Evidence rarely arrives as a perfect clip. Wind-muffled audio lagging exports and short retention windows create confusion that bad decisions can hide behind. That is why layered documentation matters. Video plus logs plus written acknowledgments. Justice is not a volume contest, it is a paper trail that survives pressure. If recording is legal in the setting, preserve the original file, make backups, and avoid edits that can create credibility attacks. When systems slow walk or deny records, request written responses and keep everything in one timeline that moves forward. Some elements are selectively fictionalized for education.